Welcome to the pizza party. This is the Pizza Guy DIY, and today I'm going to show you how to smoke pizza. At least this works for me. All right, so I have a grill, and on my grill I put a baking sheet covered in tinfoil and filled with seasoned ground beef that also has canned mushrooms in it, and then I've got some grated cheese, and I've got some slivered cheese, and I've got a pre-made pizza crust because this was just an experiment and I didn't really want to, risk anything. So I got the cheap cardboard cutout pizza crust and it works. And then I've got two trays of tinfoil filled with tomatoes and jalapenos. And I want that smoked because I'm going to throw that in my little bullet blender and make smoked salsa, which I did, and I filled up a mason jar with it. It's fantastic and I love it. Now, for smoking, I have this cold smoking tube. And what you do is you put it in your oven and you close the lid so the smoke is encapsulated in your grill. Now, my grill has a big vent at the back, so plenty of air goes in, comes out. So that fire will stay alive and a lot of smoke will come pouring out of the grill when the lid is down, and that means everything in here is just being encompassed by smoke. It's fantastic, and this thing's like $20. It's 12 inches long, 2 inches across. It's octagon, so it doesn't roll, and I put wood pellets in there, and it gives you a lot of very good smoke flavor. All right, so moving on. I brought those crusts into the house. I rotated that pizza crust because I figured that didn't really need to get a whole hell of a lot of smoke if my meat and cheese is going to be all smoked. So I got two crusts. I brought them in the house. The only difference here, because I'm putting the ground beef with Italian seasoning and mushrooms from a can, from the right hand side, I'm putting the same exact thing on the left hand side. But the differences are the left hand side has mozzarella slices at the bottom, and the right hand pizza has shredded mozzarella under the sauce. Not a big deal. And here, they're different sides for some reason, probably just because I moved it over to the countertop to not spill cheese on the stove. And I finished out padding, you can see on the right, you can see the perimeter has the sliced mozzarella cheese, then the meat, mushrooms, then more cheese. So here is a shot of the tomatoes and peppers, and you can see just a little weird dry, crinkly, wrinkliness to that. And that's because it's been in there with the smoker. Now the smoker puts out a small amount of heat, and if it's a 95-degree day out in my smoker, the inside of that smoker is about 150. A tiny little bit of flame from the smoking wood pellets, and just the natural heat. Even though it's got a silver lid and should reflect some of that sun, it gets hot. So you got to be careful because you don't want your food out there at a certain temperature where it can begin to develop bacteria, mold, mildew, I don't know, whatever it is, botulism, blah, 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 blah. Just be cautious. All right, so here's one of the pizzas, and if you notice this perimeter, this edge, this is the pizza. Like I didn't have the foresight to realize that I took this pizza and I put it in there on that little wire cooling rack, and so I couldn't fit the two pizzas side by side on the middle rack. So I just threw one on the bottom rack, one on the middle rack. This guy was on the bottom rack, and this crust got really crispy. It didn't ruin the pizza, and this is the pizza that I left for my roommate. And I also left him a note. Hey, this pizza is really crispy on the bottom. Put it on the top shelf, turn on the broiler, watch it for 30 seconds or a minute. When it gets color, pull it out. Nuke it if you have to. He's like, broiled it, came out perfect. Okay, great. So my other pizza, this is the one that had the cheese slices on it. The other pizza had the shredded cheese, and when I took the cooling rack out, I dropped it. It was freaking hot. I touched my forearm to the rack above and flinched, and the whole thing just fell down onto the door of the oven. But I was able to salvage this, right? Okay, it came out like this when I was like, oh no. I was just wanted to take it out, turn it around, and I dropped it. So it's hard to make a bad pizza. And I swear, I salvaged this and it was still a good pizza, dude. Here it is, in all of its messiness. So it fell apart when I dropped it on the door, but I rotated the thing and I threw it back in the oven, and it got that beautiful color from. I might have turned on the broiler because the bottom was getting really, really overdone. So there's something there to learn for me about my oven. The lower rack is no bueno, way too low. And I think I was actually on the second rack from the bottom. And then I was probably on the fourth rack from the bottom. And there's only one more rack above that. And so, anyway, you really have to come to an understanding of your particular oven, and it's going to change from every house you live in, right? If you're 18 and have your first apartment and you have an electric stove, that thing's going to behave a lot different than when you get your second apartment or buy a house and you have a gas grill or a gas oven. So, anyway, just want to, point out that little lesson. I mean, this pizza came out fantastic. Even though there's a little too much color on the bottom, it didn't taste burnt at all. And that kind of baffled me. But then again, we're talking about cardboard, right? It's a cardboard cutout crust. But in the future, I will continue to use the cardboard cutout crust because sometimes I want to have an impromptu pizza. I wasn't planning for it. I didn't make my dough ball ahead. I didn't leave it in the fridge and let it rise overnight and blah, 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 blah. So here it is. It is what it is. You get what you get. There's that other pizza that had the sliced mozzarella on the bottom and a little crispy crust that I warned my roommate about with a note. And I told him, hey, man, it's brown on the bottom. It's black on the bottom, but it doesn't taste burnt. Put it on the top rack, run at the broiler, babysit. And then I tinted it with some tin foil, left him the note. Sent him a text message, hey, man, left you a note. And he said everything turned out fine. So there you go. Smoked pizza with a cold smoke tube on an outdoor grill. And my name's Troy from troysweb.com. Visit my website. Click any of these other links to check out my other content, which is currently in progress. Some of those channels don't even have a video there yet. I'm working on the pizza channel. So buy me a pizza. Help me buy some meat and cheese. You don't really have to buy me a pizza. I'll make the pizza. I just would appreciate some ingredients, which is meat and cheese, dude. Eventually, I would like to start a project fundraiser for a real legit pizza oven instead of this $50 piece of stuff that I have. And that's a story for another time. Along with all these other stories and all these other future videos, in order to see them, you need to subscribe, you need to like, you need to share, and comment. Share button is pretty cool. That little triangle isn't a compass. It's not an arrow. It's a paper airplane. So that you can fold up this link and throw it across the world to your friends. Yeah, the share button's kind of cool. Actually, you can email, text, Facebook, Twitter, tweet, Instagram, or whatever. A link to this particular video with that share button. Hopefully you'll leave a positive comment because that keeps me going. And if nobody comments, I probably won't make any more videos. Until the next time, Pizza Guy DIY is gone.